Welcome to the course Circuit Theory and Network, and today we are going to discuss about Norton's theorem. So basically in our last videos we have seen how we can solve a complicated circuit by using the Thevenin's theorem. Similarly, the same circuit, the same types of complicated circuit we can solve by using this Norton's theorem also. There are few basic common things are also here and few basic differences are also there. In case of Norton's theorem, we will represent a complex network into a simpler network where only one current source will be there, one equivalent resistance will be there, and one load resistance will be there, and they will be parallel to each other. These are the overall circuit of this as per the Norton's theorem. So before going to this Norton's theorem, just like the Thevenin's theorem, we have to first identify the load resistance, or the, if we go for the AC network, then we have to find out the load impedance. So for the clear understanding, first of all we are going for the DC network, then we will go for the AC network. So for DC network, for any network, any linear active bilateral network, first of all we have to find out which one is my load. So our first criteria will be find out the load resistance, and then when we are getting the load resistance, then we are going to remove the load resistance and we have to sort the terminal to find out the current which is flowing through that sorted path. It means that is nothing but our Norton current. It means, just try to remember one thing, whenever we have discussed about Thevenin's theorem, there also we have first identified our load resistance, then we have removed the load resistance and keeping the terminal open, and as a result we have got the Thevenin voltage. But here for this Norton's theorem, it's very important to remember that we will identify the load resistance and we will replace the load resistance also, just like the previous one, but for this case we will sort the terminal to find out the current through that sorted path, and that particular current is called the Norton current, or this current is called as a short circuit current, as we are going to sort the terminal by removing this load resistance, and after sorting this terminal we are actually getting some amount of current. That's why this current is called as short circuit current also. Then after finding this short circuit current, just like the Thevenin's theorem, we are going to find out the Norton resistance also. The procedures are same. Procedure of finding the Thevenin resistance and procedure of finding the Norton resistance, both are the same. It means we have to replace all the sources by their internal equivalent resistance, and after that you have to look from the load side to find out the exact amount of resistance which offered by the circuit. Obviously you have to look from the load side, then we are getting the actual Norton resistance, and after that we are going to connect this Norton current and Norton resistance, and obviously in parallel with this load resistance. Okay, now we are going to have a circuit. Suppose this is our complicated networks is there, and for this particular complicated network, bilateral active network, and this is our load resistance, and our final equivalent circuit will be changed to these types of simpler circuit, and where this is the box portion, this is the, it means this portion is the overall circuit. It means whatever things are there may be the several numbers of voltage sources, several numbers of current sources, several numbers of resistances are there, whatever may be, that overall portions are going to changes by a simple network. It means by only a current source and only a resistance which are connected in parallel to each other, and whatever the resistances are there, that is connected over here. It means the complicated circuit is now represented by a similar circuit, and by that circuit you can easily find out this load current. So now we are considering one example to solve to understand this network theorem. we have taken a circuit. Obviously it's a linear and active network, as there are some sources are there, and linear active bilateral networks is there, and our aim is, as question is given that find the current through this 3 ohm resistor by Norton's theorem for the network. It means whatever the circuit is given to you, they are asking to find out the current through this 3 ohm resistance by using this Norton's theorem. So as per this step 1, we have to calculate the Norton resistance or the Thevenin resistance, whatever we want. We have to calculate this resistance first. So whenever we are going to find out this resistance, the overall resistance of the circuit, and obviously we have to look from the load side. So which one is our load? Our load is the 3 ohm resistance, so, or this R3 resistance. So obviously we have to replace this resistance. So remove this resistance, and obviously you have to replace these sources by their internal equivalent resistance. So which types of sources are there? Here are the voltage sources are there, and we know what are the equivalent resistance for these sources. The equivalent resistance for these sources are negligible or 0. So that's why if we want to replace these sources, so we can directly short these two terminal, and as well as we can directly short this terminal also, right? So to find this RT, to find this Rn, so simply we can go for the next portion, that is these types of circuit. It means we have replaced this load resistance, and we have replaced the sources also by their internal equivalent resistance, and we are going to look from this load side. And if we look from this load side, the equivalent resistance, this is nothing but a 6 ohm and 1 ohm, they are parallel to each other. So our Norton equivalent resistance, or the Norton resistance, that will be Rn is equals to R1. This 6 ohm resistance is parallel with this 1 ohm resistance, and by getting the calculation, by doing the calculation, we are getting this formula, that is Norton resistance is 0.857 ohms. And similarly, now our next aim is to find out the Norton current. Now how we can find out this Norton current? We can find this Norton current by sorting the terminal. It means where the load resistance was actually. So in our actual circuit, the sources will be present over there, only we are just removing this load resistance, and we are going to sort the terminal. And whenever we are sorting this terminal, one current will be flowing, and this current is written as a IN or ISC. Sometimes it's written as a IN, it means Norton current, or sometimes it's written as a ISC, it means short circuit current. Now what will be this current? What will be this current? Now obviously this IN current is nothing but this I1 current and this I2 current, both are shorted over here, and there is a path. And obviously this IN current, if we apply KCL over here in this particular junction point, we can say if this I1 amount of current is going into this particular node, and I2 current going over here, and IN current is leaving over here, so we can say this IN current is equal to nothing but a I1 plus I2 amount of current. Now how you can find out this I1 and I2 amount of current? Obviously if you consider this closed path, or if you consider this path, so this I1 current, it will having a values of, simply we can say 24 volt sources are there, and R1 resistances are there 24/6, and similarly this having one another values of 12 divided by this one. Otherwise we can go for another path also. It means you can apply the KVL for this path also, and you can find out this voltage also. So whenever you can find out this I1 and I2 value, simply you will get the values of overall IN current or overall Norton current value. Now this Norton current value, by the formula we are using this formula, this Norton current value we are getting in the previous calculation, and as well as we are getting this Norton resistance calculations also. This Norton resistance that we have already calculated in our last page. It means where Rn, that was 6 ohm and 1 ohm parallel, and by that we are getting Rn, that was the 0.857 ohm, and over here we are getting the IN amount of IN, that may be the 16 ampere like this, 16 ampere like this. So generally the equation that's given over here, we can clearly see that thing, that if 24 volt sources are given over here, and if we consider that this I1 amount of current is leaving from that source, and obviously it's moving over here, and so only one resistances are here and no more resistances is in this path, so this I1 current obviously 24 by this resistance 6 means we can get over here, that is 4, and obviously over here this is the 12 volt and this 1 ohm resistances are there. These 1 ohm resistances are there, so obviously in this path, that is 12 divided by 1, that means 12 divided by 1, that means 12 ampere current in this path, and overall this 12 plus 4, that is equals to this total 16 ampere current which is flowing through this path, overall this 16 ampere. So we can say that our IN, that the Norton current, that is our nothing but a 16 ampere current, 16 ampere, and our RN, that was 0.857 ohms. Now we have to design the Norton's circuit. So how we can design that Norton circuit? Norton circuit means this Norton current and this Norton resistance, that they will be connected in parallel, and the load resistance that we have removed earlier, that load resistance should be connected in parallel with this circuit. So it means they will be connected over here and the circuit look like this. So now the Norton current or the short circuit current ISC, Norton resistance and the load resistance, that is connected over here. Now our aim is, our question, they ask that to find out the current through this load resistor. Now let's consider the current is here IL. IL is the amount of current. So now if we consider here the current as it's given there, here the current is IL. Now here IN is the overall current, and the circuit contains only one current source, and the circuit contains only one single resistance, only one resistances are there and one another load resistances are there. So obviously there if we can apply the current dividing rule, we can simply get the overall amount of current. If our aim is to find out this IL amount of current by applying this current dividing rule, current dividing rule is that IL amount of current is nothing but which current is getting divided, this IN amount of current is getting divided. So IL is equals to the current which is getting divided, it means IN multiplying with other branch resistance. Other branch resistance means this IN amount of current is going to divide among this RN and this R3 resistance. So the we are going to find out the current through this R3 ohm resistance. So our other branch resistance means RN. So this IL is equals to IN multiplying with RN divided by the overall resistance where the current is being divided. So this current is being divided among this RN resistance and this R3 resistance, so divided by RN plus IL. Similarly, if we want to find out current through this branch over here, it means suppose we are going to find out current through over here, suppose this current, if we consider, that is suppose we are considering this current is our I1, and as the previous one, this current was IL. So by the same logic, we can say that our I1 amount of current, I1 amount we can calculate that which current is being divided, that is the IN amount of current is being divided. So we can say that IN multiplied with other branch resistance. Other branch resistance means as we are going to find out this I1 current, so other branch means that is R3. So IN into R3 divided by the resistance where the current getting divided. The current is getting divided among this RN and R3 resistance. So here we can write RN and we can write over here plus R3. So here we can find out the I1 current also and as IL current also. Simply after finding IL current, you can find out this I1 current like this also, that I1 is equals to our overall current, that was IN minus of IL also. This is also possible, no problem. If you first find out this I1 current, then again you can find out this IL current also, that IL is equals to IN. IL also will be IN minus I1, that also possible, no problem at all. You can use any of the formula, but generally we can find out by applying this this current dividing rules, and if we want to find out this load current, so apply the current dividing rule and you can find the overall current. Similarly, there is another approach also, you can find out this current. You can find out this current also by source conversions also, if required. Suppose this up to this circuit, up to this point, it's complicated. It's Norton's theorem is complicated. If they ask you to find out the current through the Norton's theorem, then it's complicated. Then up to this point, it's fine. Your answer is ready. Now suppose the same problem. Now suppose this one is your problem. that this current sources is given to you, and they are asking you to find out this amount of current by using the source conversion technique. Suppose they are asking, suppose this is one another thing, suppose they are asking the source conversion, SOURC, source conversion technique. So here is a current source. You can convert this current source by the by the voltage source. Current source, there is a parallel resistance, so you can convert this, you can consider this current source in parallel with this one, and you can convert as a voltage source in series with the resistance, or you can consider this one with this one. Anything you can do it you want. Suppose they ask you to solve this by using this source conversion technique. So your source conversion value, that will be your overall voltage. If we consider V is equals to I into R. So your V value, that will be, we can write over here again IN multiplied with this Rn, that will be your Vn value, and again that will be in series. So the same circuit we can represent in different way, like then your circuit will be the different one. It means only this portion is going to changes, because here is a current source in parallel with a resistance. The same circuit, whenever you are going for the source conversion, it means your current source will be changed to current to voltage source, and similarly whatever the resistance that are connected in parallel, that resistance will be connected in series, and similarly your voltage source value will be this one. So if we go for this these types of calculation, then obviously our circuit will be these types: one resistance and one sources will be there, and this, and also this, and this is our load resistance, that is our RL. So this source, this is nothing but the values of IN multiplied with Rn, IN multiplied with Rn, and this is the values of Rn. So this circuit, that actually looks like the Thevenin's circuit, right? So the Thevenin's theorem and Norton's theorem, whatever theorem you are going to apply, they will give you the same result. And if required, you can convert any circuit, to any circuit. Suppose you are going to solve the same circuit by using Thevenin's theorem, your ultimate result will be this one, and this value will be exactly same with your previous Thevenin voltage and this Rn, and this is nothing but the same for the Thevenin's theorem and for the Norton's theorem. This Rn or Rt, they are the same value, and there is also this Rn. So by this way you can solve any circuit, if the circuit criteria permits the general protocols of the Thevenin's and Norton's theorem, like linear, active and bilateral network, and for that circuit you can apply Thevenin's theorem as well as you can apply Norton's theorem. Now for the Thevenin's theorem, the basic difference for Thevenin's and Norton's theorem, there are few things are there. For the Thevenin's theorem, first of all, we are removing the load resistance and we are going to find out the open circuit voltage. Instead of that, for in case of Norton's theorem, we are going to replace the load resistance and we are going to short the terminal and we are going to find out the short circuit current. So in case of Thevenin's theorem, we have find out open circuit voltage, and in case of Norton's theorem, we have find out short circuit current. So one is the voltage in case of Thevenin's theorem, and in case of Norton's theorem we have find out short circuit current. And the next thing, that is the Thevenin resistance or the Norton resistance. This is the same thing. For the Thevenin resistance or for the Norton resistance, just we are looking from the load side. After removing the load resistance, we are looking from the load side, and at the same time we are removing all the sources. Whatever the sources are there, we are going to replace the sources by their internal equivalent resistance. So the values of the Thevenin resistance and values of the Norton resistance, they are the same. Now for the overall circuit, for the Thevenin's theorem, the circuit will be represented in the way of voltage source in series with a resistance and again in series with the load resistance. That will be a Thevenin's theorem representation. And for the Norton's theorem, the current source in parallel with the overall circuit resistance or in parallel with the Norton resistance, and again in parallel with the load resistance. So in case of Thevenin's theorem, we connect all the voltage sources the Thevenin resistance and the load resistance in series with each other, and for the Norton's theorem we connect the Norton's current or the short circuit current and Norton resistance and the load resistance in parallel with each other. Okay, so these are the differences for Thevenin's theorem and Norton's theorem, and if required you can use this source transformation concept and you can go for you will find out the value for the voltage sources and for the current source and the current also, right? Okay.